Good morning or good afternoon, depending on when you are tuning in to listen. Hello, Moonbeams. Welcome. I am Donna Cass, and this is the Mystic Moon School podcast. And we are going to discuss the weekly moon energies as she moves through the signs for the week and the different aspects that she makes to both the inner and the outer planets, and how this is going to affect us. Of course, the moon is our most personal planet, right? She represents our inner emotional world, how we feel, literally how we feel, our moods, how we process emotionally, and how we feel safe and secure on an emotional level, what we need for emotional security, what we need for emotional safety. The moon also represents the mother. The moon also represents memory and the people. And so there are times when, if we are looking at the moon through the lens of the collective, the moon is going to represent the collective of people at large. Okay. But for our podcast here, we focus on the moon, the signs that she is moving through every couple of days, because she moves very quickly. She moves through the whole zodiac in 1 month, and she does this every single month. And so, of course, this is different every single month, even though she's going to hit, let's say, Aquarius every month. It's going to hit differently every month because of the different aspects she's making, and the different energies then that are created from those meetings with the inner planets and with the outer planets. So let's jump right into it. So this is the week of May 27th to June 2nd. Yes, we are ending the month of May. We are beginning June this week. We have a lot to discuss around newness. But I am calling this podcast Taking a Breather as the energy builds. And of course, I will explain why I feel that is the theme for this week. And I think I want to set the stage. I want to give us a very large and in charge background energy that took place a few days ago. The planet Jupiter, the biggest planet in our solar system, the great benefic, as the ancients called Jupiter, which means the great blessings, right? The great good one. Jupiter is all about expansion. Jupiter is the planet of blessings. Jupiter is good fortune, the wheel of fortune turning in your favor, good luck. I always think of the word joy when it comes to Jupiter. Jupiter is also spirituality and faith. Jupiter is expansion in many different ways, and one of which is learning. And that is actually going to be a big emphasis for the next year, because as Jupiter has moved into Gemini, Gemini is the sign of the mind. And so Gemini is intellectual energy, air energy, right? All the air signs are in the mind. They want to think things through. They want to process things mentally. They really need to sit with something a lot of times, think it through. Very communicative, right? Gemini is the chatty Cathy. Gemini is like the super friendly, flirty, just bopping around town, going to all their little neighborhood spots, knows everybody. Everybody knows Gemini. The cashier person at the supermarket and in the local coffee shop and, at the dry cleaner and like all the places, right? That is that fantastic, friendly, chatty um, very communicative Gemini energy. And so Jupiter is expanding this energy for all of us, for all of us. And so we all may feel like we want to get out a little bit more this year, explore around town, just chat it up, right? Just be a little bit more friendly with people, your neighbors in your where you live, wherever you live, in an apartment complex, in a neighborhood. Gemini is very much neighborhood energy. Maybe also with siblings. If you have siblings, you may want to connect more with your siblings this year. But the other really beautiful, expansive energy that Jupiter in Gemini is bringing us this year is expansion of the mind, right? Expansion of our consciousness, because Jupiter itself is all about that. Learning, all about learning and what is going to expand the mind, right? And so that could be higher education. That could be that next level course that you've been thinking about taking. It could be, classes and courses just because you're interested, right? But Gemini energy can also, and Jupiter energy, Jupiter is also the teacher. And so you may want to teach something this year. You may feel like you want to start a group. You want to do an online class. You want to do an in-person workshop, right? This is going to be a beautiful, supportive year for that. And Gemini is going to support you in the coming together with people in groups and really learning together, right? The teacher is always the student, always, right? The best teachers are always learning, always, never ever stop learning, and that's Gemini energy too, and that's Jupiter. That's Jupiter energy as well. So I really love Jupiter in Gemini for us. There's another tremendous background energy that not a lot of astrologers talk about, although I will say more astrologers are learning about, myself included, and that is the dwarf planet Sedna. And if you're interested, you can look up her myth. She's an Inuit goddess, and she represents deep transformation, and she has recently moved into Gemini as well. And now Sedna, because she is way out there, way beyond even our outer planets, she really is affecting us on a collective level. Now, of course, you can look to find out where she is in your chart, or you can have a chart reading with me, and we can find her where she is in your chart. But she is in Gemini, so really you just need to see where Gemini is. The degree point would be interesting to see where she's at, but she has just recently entered Gemini, and she will be there for a very, very long time, working with us on a collective level to transform, to let go of the old paradigms, the identity, the self-identity that we've been holding on to, frankly. And now we are releasing who we've been on a personal level, but as a collective. And we are transforming. We are going very deep, and we are transforming. And so that is working in the mind, because she is in Gemini as well. And we're going to get into this more as we talk about the moon this week, because I feel that this is playing out on a very personal level with the moon this week as well. And so I called this theme this week, Taking a Breather as the energy builds, because we have a significant amount of air energy this week, and the air energy is all about the mind and our thoughts, the way we communicate, our self-talk, how we think. So let's get into it. Now that I've kind of given you the background of Jupiter and Gemini, because that was a biggie, and we're going to be working in those energies all year for the next year. So just look to see where Gemini is in your chart. That's where the blessings are going to unfold for you. And we can really set the intentions around that. So wherever Gemini is in your chart, whatever house that is in, right? Whatever area of life, this is where the blessings are going to unfold over the year. So get excited about that. This is beautiful shift. This is beautiful new energy. And really set the intention to be open to receive these blessings. Don't get cynical. Don't let the doubts creep in, okay? Be open to receiving these blessings, and then be open to receiving the inspiration on what steps you can take to help make that happen, right? Because we are co-creators. Okay, so let's get into the weekly energies. So today is Monday, May 27th, and the moon is still in Capricorn. Interestingly, so I set my chart Eastern Standard Time because I'm in New Jersey, and so I set my chart to around 12 o'clock noon, and so she will be at 27 degrees on Monday, May 27th. So the first thing that I found to be very interesting about the moon in Capricorn at this late degree is that she is approaching now very closely, right? Within just a few degrees, she's approaching Pluto. And, early last week, we had this, this harsh aspect with the moon and Pluto. And so we can really get in our feels when that happens. But a square is really the most challenging aspect. So that's not what we're experiencing this week, but the moon is getting closer and closer to Pluto. And so that is where part of this building energy is coming from. So right out of the gate on Monday, you may feel like something is building for you, and you might not know exactly what that is. Okay? And that's okay. Just be open. Just know that what you're feeling, this is your intuition telling you that, yeah, we're building to something, and enjoy that unfolding, okay? It's interesting because when I did my full moon class in Sag over the weekend, one of the descriptions that I talk about is Sagittarius as the archer, and not being so hyper focused on the target, right? On the bullseye, but enjoying the journey of, everything that was required of you to learn and to practice being an archer, then coming to that spot where you are getting centered and very, very focused in your mind and connecting with the bow and the arrow, and then to the point where you release the arrow, you let go, you have faith, right? And you trust in the forces unseen that is also working with you, and all of your skill and all of your focus and your centeredness to reach your target. But there's so much beauty in the journey to even getting there that we don't want to lose sight of that. And I referenced in my class The Archer, a book by Paulo Coelho, he wrote The Alchemist. He also wrote several other books. I've read all of his books, and they are all incredible. But if you're interested, check out The Archer. It has illustrations. Each page is a very small paragraph, and it would be an incredible read for the summer. This is the teacher in me coming out. Summer reading, kids. Okay, The Archer by Paulo Coelho. Okay, you will not regret it. It's a beautiful book. But anyway, the energy, I digress. The energy is building. Okay, the moon is getting closer in the next couple of days to Pluto. And so, Pluto, right? Pluto is our planet of evolution. Pluto wants to transform us, evolve us, and always towards our most truthful and empowered self. And so that is why I feel that this is some energy building this week. Let's see, what else is going on here with Mama Moon? So today she is squaring Chiron. So if some old hurts are coming up, allow it, feel it, let it move through you, cry it out. That is the work, right? We want to let whatever is coming up, whatever's being unearthed emotionally, that maybe doesn't feel so comfortable, we want it to come up to the surface so that it can be released, so that we can see it, shine the light on the shadow, because that is how it begins to dissipate. That is how it begins to dissipate, and it has less power over us. It won't keep rearing its head if we just allow it to come to the surface, bubble over, cry it out, and then we release and we cleanse our energy. The moon is also making some really beautiful supportive aspects to Uranus. And so whenever the moon makes a supportive aspect to Uranus, I feel that we may get some downloads. We may get some epiphanies, realizations, make some connections in the mind. Because remember I said at the top of the episode, the moon can also represent memory. And so we can remember something with the moon, and then Uranus brings in that bolt of genius and that divine mind download. And so we can remember something and then make a connection to something in our present moment, or even for the future, right? Uranus is very future minded. And so be open to receiving any epiphanies today. And the moon is also receiving a beautiful supportive energy from Neptune. And so Neptune, while Uranus is the divine mind, Neptune is the divine unconditional love. And so it can also be healing, very healing Neptune energy in its highest expressions. And so while we might be having that little tenderness, maybe around Chiron energy today, we could also be feeling forgiveness around that with Neptune. Neptune can offer compassion and forgiveness, and that's so healing, so incredibly healing. What else did I want to say? With the moon in Capricorn today, Cap is very grounded energy. So if you can, maybe do something that you feel grounds you, whatever that is. For some people, it could be eating more grounding foods, foods from the earth, right? Like root vegetables, anything grown in the earth. But grounding foods could also be, different types of protein that you feel are more substantive to you. And, I don't propose eating meat or not eating meat. It's really whatever anyone feels on a very personal level that's right for them. So it could be eating more grounding foods. It could be taking a walk in nature if you have the opportunity. If you really can, find a little grassy patch of earth, take your shoes and socks off, walk around, in the grass, in your bare feet, or just sit upon the ground. So grounding, so centering for you. So whenever the moon is in earth signs, I will always recommend that because we can really tap into that energy even easier. Okay, so the other background energy that is happening this week, and I want to say it early on because this is going to be exact at the end of the week on Saturday, June 1st. But Venus is catching up to the sun, okay? And I do want to say a little something about this now, and then I'll really talk about it coming full circle on Saturday. But, you know, Venus has been, for us, from our standpoint from Earth, she has been kind of not really visible to us, okay? And so she does this about every, I believe it's about every six to 8 months. And so really what happens is she goes through this period of, she's a morning star and she's an evening star. And so there's a whole process that she goes through to become the morning star, to become the evening star. And this is based on where she is in the sky in relation to the sun. And so then what is really happening here is it's her orbit, and it is whether she is going to be in front of the sun or behind the sun based on our viewpoint here from Earth. And what this means for us symbolically is that there are times when Venus needs to go dark. And actually I'm going to change that. She's not really going dark, because what's happening is, especially this week, she is getting closer and closer to the sun. And so actually what she's doing is she's approaching what's called the heart of the sun, which is called a cazimi. Okay? And so on Saturday, that is where she is going to be. And so as she is approaching this point where she's going to be in the heart of the sun, we can't see her. And so when we can't see a planet, right, some of their energy seems to be elusive to us, or perhaps it becomes very internal for us. And so when we think about Venus, we think about, of course, love, right? Love of all kinds, love for self, love for another in a romantic way, in friendships. We think about our values, our worth, what we value. We think about, Venus also is all about our finances. And so this is another reason why I'm saying take a breather. There's a lot of air energy this week. We have Jupiter in Gemini. We have Venus approaching the sun, and so she's getting washed out by the sun's light, and yet she is absorbing the sun's rays, the sun's light, all the light consciousness that the sun gives us. She is right in it this week. And so when she then moves across the sun, then in about 50 days, come around late June, early July, she will emerge again as the evening star. We will be able to see her at night again, and she will be reborn with a whole new level of consciousness that she has received from the sun. And so this is really, we are approaching this week. It's important energy to be aware of, and how it is playing out for you, that we want to be open to receiving this new level of consciousness in love. What does love mean to us? What do we require in love, both for self and with another? Our self-worth, our self-value, all of these beautiful Venusian energies. And so I want us to be cognizant and conscious of thinking about that this week as Venus is getting closer and closer to the sun. That is part of the building energy that I'm talking about. not only with the moon moving closer to Pluto in the next few days, but Venus approaching the sun. And these are our two feminine planets, the moon and Venus. Okay, so that is significant. Our feminine energies are building towards something, right? What is that something? In my view, it is empowerment from Pluto. It is enlightenment and a new level of self from sun, the self, and consciousness, the sun. Okay, so these feminine energies within us are expanding. They are gradually building towards a next level of expansion, of an empowered new sense of self and self-worth. And this is really, really beautiful. The moon is also going to help us with this starting tomorrow. On Tuesday, the 28th, the moon shifts into Aquarius, more air energy. Once the moon, our most personal feminine planet, moves into Aquarius, very soon after, she's going to come conjunct with Pluto. And so as she encounters Pluto, I've called Pluto the gatekeeper before in previous episodes. Back when Pluto moved into Aquarius, right, and was sitting there at 0 degrees, I called him the gatekeeper. And so I still feel he is in that energy in the first couple of degrees, even though he is retrograde now. It just becomes more internal energy. And so as the moon moves into Aquarius, and then within hours and even the next day, she's going to pass over Pluto, transforming that sense of self, how we feel about ourselves, right? The moon is about how we feel. But in Aquarius, it is also going to be in the mind, thoughts about ourself. And I say about ourself because Aquarius is our true, authentic self. That's what Aquarius wants in its highest expression. Because when each individual can become their true, authentic self, then that shifts the collective. And Aquarius is also the collective. So the collective is made up of individuals, right? And when each individual can embody and live from their true authentic self, then that begins to shift the whole collective of humanity. We become more authentic. What do I mean by that? What does that even mean to be more authentic? We start to take off the masks of conditioning, the masks of what we were directly and indirectly taught that we had to be, right? How we had to fit into a family structure, to a social structure, to an educational structure, to a religious structure, a work structure. I mean, it goes on, right? I mean, all of this. And that is what Pluto is going to be working on in Aquarius for the next 20 years. Come November, when Pluto is solid in Aquarius, no more retrograding out of Aquarius, just moving forward through Aquarius. Of course, we'll retrograde in Aquarius, but not moving out of that sign for the next 20 years. Pluto is working with all of us in that transformational energy to evolve us all to becoming our more true, authentic selves. Not what we think we should be, but who we know ourselves to truly be, what lights us up, what we feel called to, how we truly feel, what we truly think, and not wearing any masks around and covering any of that anymore. And so as the moon moves into Aquarius, we are going to be able to have a slightly more objective, perhaps detached view of ourselves and how we think about ourselves, how we think about a situation. Depending on where Aquarius is in your chart, right, it's going to affect a certain area of life for you. There's another really beautiful aspect happening on Tuesday, supporting this really emerging sense of self. And I know I've been saying this a lot, but this is the theme. This is the theme for all of us going forward, is that this new sense of self is really emerging. And it's emerging in a lot of different ways. But on Tuesday, it's a lot of air energy because the moon is also receiving a supportive trine from the sun and Venus. Because remember, I said Venus is approaching the sun so close now in Gemini. More air energy. And so with that beautiful supportive energy that the moon is receiving from the sun, that the moon is receiving from Venus in Gemini, maybe you are going to get together with some women in your life who you feel like you can be your true authentic self. Have that conversation, get together, take a walk, have those conversations of, what you've been working through, right? Because guaranteed she's going to be working through it too. And with Aquarius and Gemini energy together, supporting each other, we're talking about some beautiful downloads, epiphanies, realizations, connections in the mind. Tuesday can be a really exciting, communicative, chatty, friendly day, but really on a deeper level, right? Where we're like having those realizations about ourselves and like, okay, I'm getting clarity now, right? Because the air signs of the mind, right? Unless there is some aspects that are clouding that, we can have clarity. We can have those really beautiful moments of clarity. And that's what I see for Tuesday. Okay, let's see. I'm going to skip to the next slide here. And oh yes, there we go. Happy birthday, Geminis. Happy solar returns. I'm just going to do a little plug for my solar return readings because it's so amazing. I just did one last week for someone who's not even a Gemini, and it's just mind-blowing. She had her birthday in January, and it's just mind-blowing when you see the layer of the year unfolding for you and what these energies are for you for this year and how to work with them. It's very, very empowering. And that's always the intention for my readings, is to empower you. And so, if you're interested, hop on over to my website, and whether you are a Gemini and you want to gift yourself this for your birthday, and we can do a reading for the year ahead, a solar return reading. I also look at your progressed moon to see where that is, because that's super duper important to be aware of. Or if you just want to have a natal chart reading, or if you want to have a solar return reading wherever you are in the year, it's still super validating and super empowering. Yeah, okay. So, there's a beautiful sextile on Tuesday. That's a very supportive energy, wants us to take a little action with the North Node and the Moon. Okay, so you may feel called to take some action. When the Moon makes an aspect to the North Node, we might feel an impetus for something, right? Have that conversation. Look into that class. Pick up that book. Start writing something, like whatever it is for you. You might feel that on Tuesday as well. Tuesday is a beautiful day. It really is a beautiful, supportive There's no harsh energies on Tuesday whatsoever. So please enjoy Tuesday. Maybe meditate on Tuesday. Tap into what wants to drop into the mind for you that could open up something new on your path. Okay, so on Wednesday, we're going to jump to Wednesday, the 29th. The moon is still in Aquarius all day, all day. So it is still very much that beautiful energy of objectivity with Aquarius, where you can have just enough detachment emotionally to see things clearly. And I love that about Aquarius. I am a Leo sun, so I can get, fired up when I feel something. And so I like to tap into my sister sign, Aquarius, to help me balance that sometimes and consciously choose some healthy detachment at times from a situation, from something that is bringing up a lot of emotion for me. Because while it's important to feel that, I don't want to make decisions from that place, right? And so I want to make decisions from a healthy, detached, or objective place. And that is part of the energy that Aquarius offers us. So Aquarius is, the moon is going to be in Aquarius all day until 9 p.m. Eastern time. So there are a couple of squares going on Wednesday with the moon, and that is with Mercury. Okay, so that's interesting, right? The moon in Aquarius, an air sign, is making a challenging aspect to Mercury, which is ruled by Gemini, right? Or rules Gemini, I should say. So that air energy, again, the mind. Mercury is all about our communications, how we think, how we speak to ourselves. And so I would just give you a little air of caution. On Wednesday, watch your words, okay? Watch how you're thinking. Watch how you're speaking to yourself and others. Really be conscious on Wednesday. Do I need to have this conversation today? And if I do, maybe I should write some things down first, right? Don't just shoot off a text or an email. Today is not the day for that, okay? It can backfire. I'm just saying. So be conscious of that on Wednesday. Sit with the thoughts, write it out before you have any conversations, before you send any email communications or text with other people, because with a square, it can turn into a challenging situation, okay? And if that plays out anyway, because the truth is we can be cognizant of it, but others may not be, right? And so if that shows up in your world on Wednesday, notice it and say, whoa, okay, Donna talked about this. Why is this coming up? Why did this play out like this? What can I learn? Mercury, learn. Learn from it. What is this teaching me, right? So, and, Uranus is also in Taurus. So it could be out of the blue. It could be a little bit electric and shocking when there's a square. So just try not to be reactive. Try to notice it, observe it, and be like, whoa, okay. Donna talked about this. It's coming in. Now, I just need to sit with this for a minute, tap into the moon in Aquarius and detach. Detach from it emotionally and try to look at it objectively. Okay? Even tap into that Uranus energy of the higher mind. Look at it from a higher perspective and say, where is this person coming from? Is this coming from a wounded place within them? Does this really have anything to do with me? Are they projecting stuff onto me? Or do I need to look at myself here and unpack some things and Did I put this into action? Am I accountable here in any way? Because that's super important too for learning, right? So just take notice. The other thing I'm going to say is that it's not the moon, but Chiron and Mars are conjunct on Wednesday. So that Mars energy, the masculine energy within us, the energy that wants to take action and be assertive and honestly sometimes wants to fight, get into a fight, right? Up conjunct with Chiron is, right, the wounded healer. It is those tender wounds that maybe are still hurting a little bit. So with all of this energy on Wednesday, please be patient with yourself. Detach emotionally as much as you can, enough so that you're not going to be reactive. That's what I'm looking for here, okay, on this day. Because, something really might play out on Wednesday and you have the heads up now, okay? So not everything requires a reaction in the moment, right? We can respond to someone and say, you know what, I hear you, but I need time to process this. Okay? We don't want to ghost anybody, right? We don't want to ignore anyone, but we also don't want to react from an unconscious place and from an emotional place, because with these energies, it's not going to play out well. Okay? You have been forewarned, but now you know. So tap into positive affirmations for yourself, because this can also play out within yourself, okay? This can be self-talk that is harsh. And if it is playing out within you, I invite you to separate, detach Aquarian energy, detach from your ego mind, detach from your fear voice, okay? Detach from those voices that want to keep you small, that want to protect you but at your own detriment of not being able to grow. Whatever it is for you, if this is playing out on an internal level within the mind, within your own mind, then you want to detach from that. It may play out with other people. Aquarius is also groups, right? Don't get caught up in the groupthink on Wednesday. That is not the energy that you want to be in. You want to detach. You want to come to your own center. Wednesday is a big day, okay? So let's really go into this week knowing that, not with fear. You are empowered here, right? You are empowered to come into your center, to detach from fear, to detach from reactivity, and to observe why this is coming up for you today on Wednesday, so that you can learn from it, you can grow from it. All right, we're going to move to Thursday, and there's a lot softer energy happening on Thursday, the 30th, because the moon moves into Pisces. I mean, the moon is going to move into Pisces Wednesday evening, but I don't know about y'all, but I'm in bed by 10. So maybe you might have a beautiful dream state on Wednesday night when the moon moves into Pisces. And so Pisces, when the moon moves into Pisces, it's a softer, it's the water energy, right? A lot more emotion, yes, but compassion and empathy and kindness, beautiful imagination. And so whatever plays out for you on Wednesday, tap into the energy of compassion on Thursday, because the Mars is still going to be conjunct Chiron. And on Thursday, the moon is also squaring, which is that aspect of tension, the sun, and Venus. So I'm not going to say it's Thursday's going to be a big relief day, but you may be more in your feels on Thursday, but again, there's purpose to all of this, right? Because if whatever takes place on Wednesday, and then if you're in your feels on Thursday, allow it. Pisces is the ocean. Allow yourself, allow that water energy to wash over you. If you have the opportunity, if you live by the sea, go be by the ocean on Thursday if you have the opportunity, because that is going to be very nurturing for you, very soothing and calming if you can tap into actual ocean energy on excuse me, Thursday and even Friday, because the moon will be in Pisces on those 2 days. So, on Thursday, if you are feeling tender, please love on yourself, okay? Be kind to yourself. Treat yourself. Where is Pisces in your chart? What area of life is this happening for you? Okay? Because those are the ways that you can tap into that self-care and self-love. Okay, on Friday, still Mama Moon in Pisces, and then the moon is going to be conjunct Saturn. And so you may feel like you need to take a break. You want to slow down. You may feel some sort of blockade, like you want to move forward on something, but something's blocking it. If that's how it plays out for you, then don't push. Do not push. Go with the Pisces energy of flow. Okay, so when I see the moon in Pisces conjunct Saturn, what I see is the river with the rocks, the big river rocks. And so what does the water do? Saturn is the river rocks. The moon in Pisces is the water, the river water. The river finds a way around. It flows around. It doesn't butt up against the river rock trying to push it out of the way, right? No, it just finds a way around. And sometimes a way around is like, okay, well, I'm going to put this thing down for now and I'm going to go do something else, right? Know when not to push. On Friday, the moon in Pisces is going to have beautifully supportive energy from Uranus and Mercury. Again, those beautiful mind energies. So when the moon is in Pisces and the moon can connect to the oneness of all, right? Source energy is Pisces. I would say Friday is a wonderful and powerful day to meditate because you have Uranus and Mercury supporting Mama Moon in Pisces. Take some time. Sit in quiet reflection or meditation. Do a shower meditation. Take a bath because we have Moon in Pisces, water energy, right? Go for a swim if you can on Friday. Epiphanies, new thoughts, new connections, those fantastic light bulb moments are happening on Friday. I really feel that conjunction to Saturn is saying, put the thing down that's not connecting and go higher. Go into quiet meditation or reflection. Take a bath or a shower, whatever it is for you, go for a swim. And that's where your higher self wants to meet you, okay? So for the most part, I really see Friday as beautiful, beautiful energy. Saturday, June 1st. This is the day that Venus meets the sun, and this is supporting the moon in Aries. Okay, so the moon moves into Aries on Saturday, and when this happens, the moon is receiving beautiful supportive energy from Venus and the sun. So Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? I misspoke there because Venus is conjunct the sun on Sunday. So, but it's so close, right? So Venus and the sun, however, because they are so close, they are really supporting this moon in Aries. And then when the moon moves into Aries, she's approaching the North Node first. And so Mama Moon, again, is approaching our destined path. And with that supportive energy from the sun, sense of self, and Venus, our self-love, this is beauty. And Aries is all about the self, right? So for me, Saturday, June 1st, I mean, this is just gorgeous energy because we're having an Aries party, okay? That's what it is on Saturday. The Aries party begins when the moon moves into Aries because now we have the moon and the North Node and Chiron and Mars all in Aries. And so it's like, let's have, a party celebrating ourselves on Saturday because Venus and the sun are supporting us, loving on ourselves, having that strong sense of self. And really gorgeous energy on Saturday. Do something for yourself on Saturday. Do something for you. Make it an all about me day on Saturday. And this is not selfish, right? This is self-care. This is taking care of yourself, what your needs are. Treat yourself, whatever that may be for you. It's beautiful energy on Saturday. When we move into Sunday, Venus is conjunct the sun, and so she is in the Kazemi. She is in the heart of the sun, and she is receiving all of the enlightened, next level consciousness energy. She's absorbing it all. She's feminine. She's receiving it from the sun. And as she begins to move across the sun and she makes her way past the sun, over the next about 40 to 50 days, we are going to be building in our self-worth. We are going to be building in our self-love, in what we need now, in relationships. And, when she emerges again as the evening star shining so brightly in the sky, we are going to also be reborn in a new level of self-love and worth. And this is a beautiful process to be conscious of and work with these energies. And so Sunday is kicking that off. And with the moon still in Aries, it is really about you. It is about our sense of self. And I really love this energy. It's all supporting us. All of these energies of recent have been supporting us really since the eclipse into this new, amazing new self that we are emerging into. And I don't ever want you to lose sight of that, even on the days where it feels a little tough. This part of the process, right? We have to work through some things and release some things and become aware of some things, right? That need tending to, that need healing, that need cleaning up, that need accountability, the patterns need to be broken so that we can emerge into our new sense of self that is more empowered, that is a truer representation of our authentic selves, right? Where we know our worth, we know our value and what we bring. This is what we are building all week long, and then, of course, over the many months and years to come. It's only going to get better. So please embrace even the challenging days, because knowing that it's part of our process, that we are moving through those tunnels where it gets a little dark sometimes. But remember, the tunnel, you can see the light at the other end. That's where we're moving towards. Some days will be out of the tunnel, basking in the light. Enjoy it. Really raise your vibration. Tap into the gratitude, the appreciation, the things that you absolutely love about yourself and your life. And on the tougher days, don't lose sight that those moments are there to grow you, that you are shedding layers, and that you are healing in those moments as well. I want to wrap up this podcast by saying, if you are here listening, I want to thank you so much. Empowerment is neither a victim avenged nor an asserted will. It comes from a place of deep love and contentment. From there, all things are possible. Anita Inveriardi. This is her quote. This is a beautiful message that has really been a pillar for me in my healing journey. And I share it with you now to wrap up this podcast. I want to thank you so much for taking the time and sharing your energy with me by listening to this podcast. We are having an energetic connection here when you are listening, whenever you are listening to this podcast. I would love for you, if you enjoyed it, if you received some bit of insight, something resonated, if you could please like the video, share with someone who you know would also appreciate it and feel empowered. And please subscribe to the channel. Leave me a comment. This really helps my channel to grow so that I can support more and more people through this platform. I am wishing you a beautiful and empowering week ahead. See you soon under the moon. Bye-bye for now.